Next to Washington, President Trump tweeting this morning he watched every moment of the protest outside the White House before unleashing a warning about what may be coming tonight. ABC's Rachel Scott is at the White House.
Tonight, President Trump sending a mixed message. On one hand, discouraging the violence erupting on American streets.
I stand before you as a friend and ally to every American seeking justice and peace. And I stand before you in firm opposition to anyone exploiting this tragedy to loot, rob, attack, and menace.
But continuing to use violent rhetoric. First tweeting a message to protesters in Minneapolis, writing, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts." Later saying he didn't know its racist past.
Well, I've heard that phrase for a long time. I don't know where it came from, where it originated.
Today, the president singled out Antifa and radical left demonstrators, even as state officials say groups could also include anarchists and white supremacists, while seeming to send a cryptic message to his supporters, tweeting, "It's MAGA night at the White House."
But I have no idea if they're going to be here. By the way, they love African American people. They love black people.
Tonight, protesters beginning to gather at the president's door.
You can see some of the damage from this weekend's protest. Officials have blocked off the area to get into Lafayette Park. This is the closest any of these protesters are going to get to the gates of the White House.
Last night, some turning violent, throwing bricks, rocks, and bottles at Secret Service, ripping down barricades. The White House put on temporary lockdown. The president said he watched every move from inside, warning if those protesters breached the fence, they would have been greeted with the most vicious dogs and most ominous weapons. The mayor of D.C. calling his words an attack on humanity and black people.
To make a reference to vicious dogs is no subtle reminder to African Americans of segregationists who let dogs out on women, children, and innocent people.
All right, Rachel joins us now from the White House. And Rachel, we saw the protesters there in your report gathering near the White House today. The president tonight continues to threaten to deploy the, quote, unlimited power of the military to control demonstrators.
That's exactly right, Tom. And the president has been going after Democratic officials, especially warning them to be much tougher on these protesters. Now, the National Guard is already on the ground there in Minneapolis, but if requested by the governor, a senior defense official tells ABC News tonight that those active duty troops will be deployed to help support local law enforcement. Tom?